Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at some of these coins, and what we'll do first, we'll just have a quick look at dominance, which basically on this daily chart shows us that it's still going down and actually hit that resistance level there, being the 50 exponential, and continuing to hit that and just be rejected and rejected and rejected. So I know that it seems pretty harsh that alts have been hit pretty hard, but what it's saying here is that if Bitcoin continues to go up or even sideways, then actually power is in the hands of the alts. But that said, where's the power coming from? And the power is coming from this. So really, what we should do really is not actually look at altcoins or Bitcoin or anything at all. What we really want to do is actually look at this chart, which is the Dixie, so it's the dollar, the strength of the dollar, and this is really where it's all coming from. This is the power. This is what's telling everybody if it's going to go up or down. Generally speaking, I know that it sounds a bit oversimplified, but really this is it. Everything's hanging in the balance of the price of this dollar, and I know that sounds ridiculous, but it is. The stocks are going up, the stocks are going down, because people are worried that the dollar's going to bounce. The dollar's been falling quite dramatically, and it's hitting this level of resistance and support, should I say, and people are worried that it's going to break out of it. And if it does break out of it and it starts to go up, then everybody's assets, stocks, commodities, cryptocurrency, it will generally all go down, because the dollar's the one that has the power. What do they say? Cash is king, is what they often say. So we need to have a look at this first, and then we'll run through some of these coins. So basically, the way that this is generally going at the moment is that it is at a pretty low. This goes back to 2015. Okay, so prior to that, we were a lot further down than that. But since 2015, we've tested these lows within this blue box, well, purple box area, and this is the area where we generally bounce from. Now, we did have a period throughout 2018 where it sank even lower than that. And really, when you're looking at this, even though it did sink lower, and I'm not saying that it can't go lower, obviously anything is possible. But what I'm really trying to stress to you all is that it's at a point now where it looks as though it does want to climb out of here. Now, you've seen that there's been, I don't know if you follow stocks or commodities or anything like that, but there's been, over the last few days, there's been some dumping going on. And today there was more of that dumping going on because we actually launched all the way up here. I know it doesn't look like a big move, but as far as dollar index is concerned, 3/4. I know it sounds silly because we're into crypto, but $0.75 of a dollar is a big deal. If it rallied all the way up there, which it did, it scared the hell out of stocks, and they all started to collapse. Not collapse, but dump. I think the Nasdaq was down 2.5% as a result of that. Okay, so when that goes down, S&P goes down, and when it's like a domino effect, and it'll basically end up in the crypto market. The crypto market will start to fall down too, because everything is tied together. And whether you treat crypto as a commodity like gold, where it's a store of value, there's no point in having a store of value if you can't draw upon that value when you've lost a lot of your assets in stocks. Very boring video, I know, but what I'm trying to say is we're at a pinnacle point here where we could rally, and that rally would cause a dump. However, I should say, and I will say, that the chart itself looks absolutely awful. It just looks terrible, and there's nothing really on this chart and on the daily that says anything other than bearish. But when you go down to a 4-hourly, what do we see? We see something slightly different. We do see convergence of these, and it's still in bearish territory, but we see convergence of the 50 and the 200 getting closer and closer together, and at points we have broken out of both of them. Now, we've been sucked back down beneath both of them as well, but the fact is it's looking a little bit more constructive. This for the first time in a long time since when was the last time we were above the 200 exponential on the 4-hourly? Was all the way back at the end of May, so we peaked ourselves above there just for the last couple of days, and it has happened. So it's that's what's doing it. I'm afraid that is what's doing it, and this is what will do it if it does continue to rally. Now, It sounds crazy, but America doesn't, the Fed doesn't want the dollar to be rallying at all at the moment, because what it needs to do is it needs to give the impression that the economy is good, and it wants the economy to be good, not just to give the impression, but it wants the economy to be good. If the economy appears to be collapsing in on itself again, which is what would happen if we had a rally on the dollar, it's not going to go well for anyone. That will be felt across America, across the world. So it's in their interest to keep this dollar down. So in many ways, this bull market bubble that everything is in should likely continue, because you've got the Federal Reserve back in it. But how long can that go on for? Maybe another few weeks, months, couple of months, the rest of the year? I don't know. But what we all need to do, and I've been going on about this for a long time on here, but what we really need to do is focus on the Dixie chart. This is the dollar. We need to focus on the Dixie, and if the Dixie's bearish, everything should be okay to be bullish. And that's an oversimplification of the situation, but basically, before you look at any chart, you need to look at the Dixie. So that said, we've looked at the Dixie. We recognise that it could be bouncing. It does look as though there is there's definitely a higher high been set on the daily, and there could be a higher low being set also. But again, it's very early days, and the chances are, if it does even rally up, it's not going to rally up too far, and it's likely to be dumped. So it's going to be turbulent times for everybody. Bitcoin, and I'm going to whiz through this because I talk about this a lot. But basically, above all major moving averages, there's certain levels of support that we are above. Now, I've got so much going on in this chart, it's difficult to see, but we're above the centre of the Bollinger Band, which is basically the 21 simple moving average. If we go to the weekly, let's have a look at where we are on that, and we're above that also. So I know everyone goes on about the 20 weekly, 21 weekly is the same deal. It's the centre of the Bollinger Band. Let's not sort of go crazy. I'm not going to bore you to death with technicals. The centre of the Bollinger Band, nice and easy. We can all follow that. The general sort of way that these sort of things go. If you're above the centre of the Bollinger Band, you're more likely to stay above the centre of the Bollinger Band. If you're below it, you're more likely to stay below it, statistically speaking. 65% to 70% of the time, whichever side of the Bollinger Band you're in, you're likely to stay there. So you can see that on the last couple of weeks, we have been supported quite significantly from both of those. And are we going to stay above there? Statistically, we should. Statistically, it's in our favour that we will stay above there, but that doesn't mean that we can't come down to test it. And if we did test it, where would that be? It would be basically 10,000 flat as of this week. Next week it would be a little higher. So 10,000 is still on the cards, and be bullish with that. We can still be bullish and hit 10,000. There's no question about that. We'd be in bullish territory. The slope of the exponential, so of the simple moving average is up. And we'll be still in the upper level of the Bollinger Band, so I don't really see too much of an issue with that. So that's Bitcoin. Same kind of deal really going on with the XRP. Apart from daily, we're finding huge supports and huge rejections. Let's go to the weekly, and the weekly again. We're above the centre of the Bollinger Band. It's not looking as steep, and we're in a big cloud here, so it doesn't bode too well for it on the long-term time frames. But if you've watched my video on the market cycle, the 4-year market cycle for XRP, I wouldn't worry so much, because we're not expecting big moves out of XRP for basically another 6 to 8 months. So really doing small-term time frame analysis on XRP is not futile, but it's it's laughable really at the end of the day. So I'll leave a link for you to watch that. You definitely got to watch that, just so you can understand it and know where you stand with that. MATIC, one of my favourites at the moment, because it's come back down to this level, this super support level, and it's also a resistance level, but this is MATIC's safe zone. It likes to hang around here, it likes to come back down to this little abyss area and relax and chill out, go on holiday before it decides it wants to make a move. Basically, that's where we are again now. Dumps down below here will almost always be bought back up, I would imagine. Even if Bitcoin broke down beneath 10,000, it would be a buyback, and it would be be brought back into this area between 1.85 cent and 2 cent. Always going to be the case, unless there's some significant dumping going on with the market. Then yes, we will fall down further. But as far as MATIC's concerned, as far as I'm concerned with MATIC, even though on the day that we're beneath all major moving averages, which is pretty bearish, I like this zone, and this zone is reasonable to me to buy into. Now, it doesn't mean buy in at 2 cent. It means buy in anywhere below or towards 1.85 cent, and then basically bring yourself back up to 2 cent, and so on and so on and so on. And MATIC, I do believe MATIC's a sleeping giant, but with a chart like this, it's kind of it's a real mess and it scares a lot of people, but there is method to the madness here, so I'm keeping a close eye on this. Let's go down to a lower term time frame to see what that kind of looks like now. The 4 hourly, it's obviously really bearish still as far as the chart's concerned. Moving averages look like hell on this, but it's the zone that I like, and it's not so much the there's no indication that we're going to be making any moves from here, but the fact that we're down to this, what I would call a reasonably safe zone, is an alright area to look for buys. Below this, breaking down below this, and this is mainly a resistance zone, but what it is, it's an accumulation zone. That's how I see it with MATIC. Breaking down beneath here will almost certainly get sucked back up into it, so long as the breakdown isn't dramatically bad. So MATIC, even though the chart looks pretty bad, the area that it's in at the moment is actually okay. And I'm not a financial advisor, so there's no financial advice here, but I do like it down at this area. Harmony 1, right? I've watched this fall out of the sky, and it's been brought back onto my radar, so I thought I'd give it another look. So these areas here, I stopped sort of trading this months ago when we came up to, well, I didn't sell it around here, I did sell it around this at the top here, so I made some decent money out of this one and then just forgot about it. And then yesterday and today my phone was giving me alerts, oh, how many ones hit these levels, and I'm like, what? They were like alerts that I'd set for myself way back that hadn't got filled, and now they got filled again. So I was like, okay, let's have a look at it. I like the coin, I do like it, and I do think it's definitely got moves into it. But is it going to continue to go down? That's the point. That's what we really want to work out. So it's similar to MATIC. It's worse than MATIC in a way, because there's no real safe zone at these levels. This one kind of went parabolic, really. Did a 10x, didn't it? More than a 10x. It did a 14x from its bottom down here, which is unbelievably good. It did more than a recovery. Look, this is where we broke down from that whole situation. Even before then, this was the highest we'd ever got since we were brought onto the market. So it was looking pretty bad, and then the absolute beast here. So I'm going to keep looking at this. I'm not going to be buying into it, to be honest with you, not yet. But I'm going to be looking at it again. I'm just a little worried that there is going to be more downside because of that dollar index. So I'm just going to keep some of these on my radar and see where they go. But Harmony 1's back on the radar. SXP looks like it's done a sort of. I tried to make a move this last 24 hours, but massive underperformer. It's a scary buy. Such a new chart, really, so it's difficult really to work out what's going on. But we are beneath all major moving averages and being rejected from what I can see here on the 10 simple moving, the 10 exponential. So if we're beneath there and we've not broken above there, plus we're beneath this resistance cloud here, this blue box, I'm afraid it's a no-go for me at the moment until it shows some sign of life. However, the money flow index is so low at this point here that it might be maybe worth taking a stab in the dark at it just in case, because if it does move, it could move quite dramatically. We could launch our way back up to $2. But like I say, it's a scary time at the moment. We've got to keep our eye on the Dixie. BNB fell out the sky. Looking for a little bit more downside on this one, to be honest with you. I'd like to see it hit the centre of the Bollinger Band, back down to around $25. Unless we get a substantial pump out of this, we'll probably get a MACD cross in the negative. I always hoard BNB. I've always got a lot of BNB, to be honest with you. So it's kind of like a hodl. But it did do some decent rallies, and now it's come. Wow. It just could not take it, could it? I mean, look at that. We're 22% down from that high just a few days ago. That is wrecked. And look who has woken up from their slumber. It's Ethereum. And what's Ethereum looking like to me? It's looking pretty good. It's looking very good. It's looking really good, actually. Easily at this level, unless there's a massive dump across the board, easily is going to take out 400 and beyond. and maybe even push right up to around 5. But that is Dixie. The Dixie needs to continue down. The problem I've got with this now, if this Dixie falls down and hits the bottom of this Bollinger Band like it has done on these occasions, this is the area to take profit. So I know it's such a boring thing to talk about, but this is the indicator. Okay, this actually is the indicator. Someone let me know if there's a way to allocate some form of this into a trading view, but this is the indicator that needs to be traded. The Dixie up, the Dixie down. Up Dixie means sell your profits. Down Dixie means long. Anyway, that was a really rubbish video, but I hope you got some value to it. I hope you even watched it to the end. And if you didn't, I wouldn't blame you. But if you did, congratulations. I hope you have a nice evening. Take it easy.